Good evening, children. So, welcome to social class today. Uh, we will discuss about next part of the lesson, ideas of development. Right now, today we will focus on human development index. So, this is very important table to get 8 marks for public examinations. As you will know, according to AS3 academic standard, information skills. So, giving information like in the tables or bar diagrams or the pie charts, asked to analyze them. Analyzation means explain the given table. Yes, no. So when the student has to see this type of questions in the examination, first of all, the student has to start with the proper introduction. Yes, no. See, each and every table or the pie chart or the bar diagram has given proper introduction also. Yes, no. So the same introduction has to write for the first point in the analysis part. Okay. Next to let you explain the table while comparing the given data it is. It may be the years, it may be the your country is given. So then the student has to compare the countries of their progress or compare the years of their progress it is, isn't it? So this way the student has to perform the given tables or the pie charts or the bar diagrams to get 8 out of 8 marks. So this is very easy to answer also. Sometimes the examiner asking you that few questions under the table to answer them. For example, for a recent paper pattern now, yes, the highest marks given for the long questions for 8 marks, you know that. So giving 4 questions and may ask you to answer them for each question carries 2 marks. For example, if you've seen a table to answer 4 questions, each question has to get 2 marks. Means 4 to the 8 marks. Yes, no. So this way, the student has to get ample of marks for the examination point of view. Okay. So let us understand. So what is human development index? In the previous class, we discussed about human development index, isn't it? Human development index brought out by UNDP. As you well know, what is UNDP? Aggregate UNDP. What is UNDP mean? United Nations Development Program. So UNDP is one of the association. So it is one of the association of UNO, means United Nations Organization, one of the association. Yes, no. So this UNDP has been taking the data from the countries regarding their human development. Actually, the Human Development Index brought out by UNDP. According to this index, the countries classified based on not only per capita income but also health and education. Yes, no. So health and education given much of priority nowadays than the income. So as we discussed in the previous class about World Development Report, right? So what is World Development Report? This report which is brought out by World Bank. According to World Bank, the countries classified based on the income only. Income only the criteria has taken for classification of countries. But according to Human Development Report, has taken not only per capita income, but also health and education. So nowadays, most of the developed countries and developed countries has been concentrating on to producing human resources while giving good health and also educating them. Yes, no. So let us see the table. There are 6 countries given. Their per capita income, life expectancy, mean years of schooling, and human development index in ranking given. Right now, first of all, so what is per capita income? As I told you in the previous class, the average income of a country is called per capita income. According to given table, what was the per capita income of India? Very easy to answer. See the per capita income of India, 6,353 rupees. Okay, rupees given here. Clear? See, India falls under developing countries well known, isn't it? According to World Development Report, India falls under developing country. So based on the per capita income or the average income of our country, it is clear. So the per capita income of the developing countries or the middle income countries are in between $995 to $12,055. In between the per capita income, those countries comes under what? Developing countries. Is it clear? So what was the per capita income of India? 6,353 rupees. Okay. So all these neighboring countries of India, no, say Sri Lanka, India, Pakistan, Myanmar, Bangladesh, and Nepal are the neighboring countries of India. When we have seen the neighboring countries, so our country per capita income is 6,353 rupees. But which country has the highest per capita income? May be asked. Okay, in given countries or among the given countries, so which country has the highest per capita income? See the table. Sri Lanka, you know. So Sri Lanka had 11,326 rupees. So when compared to the given states, India is somewhat poorer than this. Actually, India ranked at second in place in the per capita income, isn't it? The first place goes to Sri Lanka only. So my dear students, so this way the question may be asked in the public exams. The student has to see the per capita income, a column, and see which country's per capita income is highest one. Yes, obviously Sri Lanka no, with 11,326. This way have to get the questions in the examination point of view. That's too much. Clear? Next, coming to life expectancy mean the length of life of the people. Length of life. The average length of life of Indians, see the table, 68.8 years. According to 2017 it is. 17, the life expectancy of Indians or the length of life of the people of our country was 68.8 years only. This is the average. Clear? But when we have seen the life expectancy of 6 countries, which country's life expectancy is higher? Yes, Sri Lanka 75.85, India 68.8 years, Pakistan 66.8, Myanmar 66.7, Bangladesh 72.8, Nepal 70.6. Again, Sri Lanka, in per capita income, in life expectancy, this country is in the higher in the stage it is. Clear? 75.5 years. So when compared to India, the Sri Lankan people, the life expectancy is the highest one or the better itself. Clear? So let us understand what is the mean years of schooling. Mean years mean the number of students attending to school the age of 25 and above. 25 and above means the student has to complete their maximum education at the age of 25. No, that is why we have taken 24 years of mean years of schooling. Right now, say Sri Lanka 11, the rest of the countries in the single digit only 6, 5, 5, 5, 6, 5 only. Clear? So in this aspect also, Sri Lanka has good in the progress of mean years of schooling. Clear? Next, coming into based on the given data, there were ranking givens. You have to remember that the first rank is greater than the last rank. For example, in a class, there were the 50 students. So which rank is the highest one? The first rank is the highest one than the 50th rank. Isn't it? From 1 to 50 ranking given to the students based on the marks. So which is the highest rank? First rank is the highest than the 50th. But most of the students are confusing to write highest rank is 50th because the number is higher. No, don't you see the number here, but see the rank of the given student or the given country here. So my dear students, so in a given table, so which country? So human development index is higher. Yes, Sri Lanka 76, India 129, Pakistan 149, Myanmar 147, Bangladesh 138, Nepal 148. So which country's human development index is higher? Okay, this is the question. What you answer? You may answer for Sri Lanka or you may answer for Pakistan. But most of the students are making a mistake to answer for Pakistan because the number is bigger. Isn't it? So don't you see the number here, but have to see the rank. Isn't it? The lowest rank is higher than the highest rank, isn't it? Here, 76th rank is higher here than the 149th rank. So what you answer? Sri Lanka, isn't it? So when we have seen this table, Sri Lanka is highest in the per capita income, life expectancy, mean years of schooling, and also human development index. Clear? So based on this table, asking 4 questions to answer to get 8 marks. Each question carries 2 marks, my dears. Isn't it? So to get 8 marks is easy based on this table. So lesson number 2 and 3 mostly have tables only and pie diagrams. So then if the student has to concentrate on the given tables of the pie diagrams, definitely he'll get to 8 out of 8 marks. Because the questions are easier to get the answers from the table only. Or sometimes he may ask you highest and lowest one, or sometimes he will compare with one to another country also. But the student has to see the table very properly when he answering the given question. Clear? In the previous class, we discussed about 3 states of our country of Himachal Pradesh, Bihar, and Haryana states regarding their per capita income and also human development index. Next, IMR status of Himachal Pradesh we have seen, Bihar, and also Punjab states. Okay, we have seen that in the previous class. See, if we take out the per capita income of 3 selected states, which state is developed state? Here the Haryana is developed state than the remaining 2 states are. But when we have taken IMR status, okay, literacy rate of those countries, which state is developed state? Himachal Pradesh is developed one. Yes, no. Already we discussed these data in the previous class of selected states are clear. So when we have seen the progress, or when we have to categorize the countries or classify the states or a district or a region, the student has to see not only per capita income but also other categories, other criteria, like what IMR status important here, literacy that is important here, and health status of that particular state is important. We'll see them, isn't it? So these are important other than the per capita income. Income is not a good criteria, remember it. But the income doesn't explain how this income distribute among the people also. As I told you, what is average income? Average income is nothing but the country, the people average it was. The average income doesn't explain, doesn't say how this average income executed over the people or distribute over the people. That is why when we have been classifying the countries, we do not see not only per capita income or average income, but also health status and education. Here, the Human Development Index, which is brought out by UNDP, classify the countries based on the health status and education only. In order to understand this concept, we will discuss about an important case study of Himachal Pradesh. Himachal Pradesh, right? That is of the progress in overtime. Development and progress in overtime. That is a concept given in the lesson, isn't it? We'll discuss it. See, in order to understand development as the progress over time, we'll discuss about the case study of Himachal Pradesh. So this state is well known for you. It is a northern part of North Indian state it was. But how this state has been concentrating on health and education, we have seen in the previous class in a table. In a table, right? First of all, after independence, Himachal Pradesh is very poor state in education and also in health status. So why? Because being a hilly region, the government is impossible to set up schools in the remote areas and less densely populated state also. Then Himachal Pradesh is being a hilly region, less densely populated state it was. It's a big task to set up schools in the remote areas. If the population is more, the government dared to set up schools. But the population or the densely population very less, that's impossible to spend money on building schools now, appointing teachers now, constructing toilets or drinking water or providing electricity and everything, isn't it? So the government has been spending money on this aspect. But in the beginning, after independence, the state is very poor in education because of no schools constructed, because it is being a hilly region and the lowest densely populated state also. Clear? So after 90s, then the government of Himachal Pradesh has seen the other states of our country regarding the literacy rate of them, and the government decided to set up schools in the remote areas also. Constructed schools, set up schools, appointed teachers, provided toilets, drinking water, electricity, everything. Because in 1996, survey says that the Himachal Pradesh has been spending 2005 rupees on education on each child. When it compares to other states of India, it is very highest. Do you know, India has been spending 1049 rupees on each child. India has been spending. It's been in other states. But when it comes to Himachal Pradesh has been spending 2005 rupees. See, which is the highest one? 2005 rupees highest one. And the government of Himachal Pradesh has been initiating budget every year in the month of February and allotted large amount of money to spend on education. As you well know, the development of a state or a country depends on education, because the education played a vital role in the socio-economic development. It's a very important statement it is. For a socio-economic development, what plays a vital role? Education next to health. Next to health. That is why Human Development Index always says about two aspects only. That is education and health. Isn't it? So that is why Himachal Pradesh has been spending large amount of money on education. In 1996 survey says that this state has been spending 2005 rupees on each child. When compared to India, it is highest one. Clear? And the government of Himachal has spent a huge amount of money for constructing schools, providing facilities to the students. Right? Nothing but playground or toys or else toilets or drinking water, electricity, fans, all infrastructure provided to the students to enjoy in teacher learning process it is. Clear? So in 2005, another survey has taken by the government. It says that the students of Himachal Pradesh has been going to schools very enthusiastically. It's very happily they are going to schools. Even the students, teachers of that schools has been receiving the students well and good and treating well, encouraging them this way. Then the students who in between 13 to 18 years of students had completed their education and entered in the secondary education. Isn't it? Secondary in the sense 9th and 10th class is called as secondary education. Isn't it? So, and also we have seen the literacy rate of Himachal Pradesh is 84%. One of the better state or good state in our country in the literacy rate also, right? See, the highest literacy rate which recorded in Kerala state, it is more than 93%. But next state is Himachal Pradesh only. Once it was very poorer in education. Right now, the state has been spending huge amount of money for education only for education. So that is why, so when survey has taken the year 2005, it says that the student has been going to schools and completing their mid-school education, that is still 8th class, and entered into secondary education. Clear? And so when we have seen the welcome trend in Himachal Pradesh, or the schooling revolution in Himachal Pradesh, there was no gender bias. Gender bias means no discrimination between boys and girls, men and women. In Himachal Pradesh, the parents has been treating girls and boys and men and women equally. Equal treatment there. No discrimination shown in that particular state. But when we have seen other states of our country, like in southern state like Telangana or Karnataka, Tamil Nadu states has been showing a gender bias, it is, means discrimination. See, when we compare the education, girl education is very poorer in the southern state than the boys, because the parents of southern state feeling burden about the girls for educating them. Because the parents has been thinking blindly about if the girl educated, what the girl has to do for the sake of their parents. But the boys can do, the boys can means looking after the parents for their lifelong it is, but not for the girls. That is why the southern state hasn't been focusing on education, particularly girls. But when we have seen the northern state like Himachal Pradesh or Uttar Pradesh or Uttarakhand state has been spending huge amount of money for girls itself, girl education. So when we have seen in Himachal Pradesh, no gender bias. The parents of Himachal are treating girls and boys are equal, and the women of Himachal Pradesh basically educated, and as educated women has to educating the girls than the boys. No, yes, equally educating them, but much priority given for the girls to educating them than the boys itself. Even they have been sending abroad for higher education abroad, but it's not possible in southern state cities. That whatever the schooling or what are the colleges in the local is giving education for the girls, and when they complete their education in the local areas, the parents may not send them for abroad. It is for higher education, isn't it? But in Himachal Pradesh, the woman as educated as she was employed in outside the home. She is employed already. See, 95% women of Himachal Pradesh were employed outside the home. As they were employed, economically independent they were, has to focus on girl education than the boys. Means the boys obviously educated now, isn't they have to themselves educate, but the girls need cooperation from the parents' side to educating them, to send for abroad, spending money on them, but do not feel burden over the girls, isn't it? And the parents hasn't been shown gender bias, the parents hasn't discriminating the girls and boys, then the progress in Himachal Pradesh is well and good, okay, regarding the girls' education. Clear? So when we have seen in Himachal Pradesh, most of the girls has been completing their 8th class and yes, promoted to secondary education, and IMR status Himachal Pradesh is very lower. IMR it is. What is IMR? I told you. IMR means infant mortality rates. What is infant mortality rate? 1 mark question, 2 marks, sorry. Infant mortality rate means the number of children died, 1000 means 100 children. We have to take for 1000 children. How many of them died? Out of 1000 children, how many of them died is called infant mortality rate. So infant mortality rate is very low in Himachal Pradesh than we compare to other states, isn't it? And most of the girls hasn't been dying. But when you have seen the number that is 33 in Himachal Pradesh, most of the people in 33 are the boys than the girls it is. So girls has been taking care of the parents. Girls has been pushing towards to higher education and even employee outside. The girls has been encouraged by the parents. When we have to ask them, when we have to survey or ask the girls, they have to say that they become a policeman, they become a teacher, they become a doctor, they become an engineer. So they had a tremendous aspirations of the goals which were created by the parents only, mostly their mothers. As I told you that mother is well educated in the family. As the mother educated, then he has to educate entire the family. Mostly she has been focusing on girl education. That is why no gender bias have seen in Himachal Pradesh when compared to other part of the country itself. Clear? And the Himachal women has been playing a vital role in politics, means village politics, and also were the members in active Mahila Mandals. You know, active Mahila Mandals, nothing but self-help groups in present days in our state. You know that self-help groups are. So active Mahila Mandals, they were the members in that mandals, and they played a vital role in that. They are the decision makers in their families, and also played a vital role in the politics also. But when they have seen in other part of the country, no priority given for, yes, no encouragement to the woman itself. That is why we need to focus on the gender bias in Himachal Pradesh. So that is why we have to expect a question from this topic side. Why there was no gender bias in Himachal Pradesh for 4 or 8 marks? Just have to write point wise at least 8 points there. So mainly how to focus on Himachali woman is educated and economically independent. This is the reason, as the woman educated, she has to focus on educating her girl children than the boys itself, isn't it? So mainly this point is important, and the girls has been completing their standard, means minimum education of 8th class, and has been promoting to higher class, that is secondary education, isn't it? So that is why when we have seen the HDA rank of Himachal Pradesh is much better than other states. Already we have seen a table in the previous class. Okay, we compared 3 states of HDA rankings, but which state is better in the position? Himachal Pradesh only, because so the per capita of Himachal Pradesh is not much better than the Punjab state, but we do not only see about the per capita income, but you have to see the health status of the particular state and also educational attainment, isn't it? That is why Human Development Index is always focusing on educational attainment of the people and health status of them. These two aspects are very, very important for encouraging the means people and to see the socio-economic development also, isn't it? So in this particular lesson, mainly have to focus on averages, the first concept. Second concept is about Human Development Index only. And the two important criteria or need to remember, they are World Development Report and Human Development Report. Okay, who brought out World Development Report? Who brought out Human Development Report is important here. And the student has been differentiating between the two. What is Human Development Report? Who brought out? What is the World Development Report? Who brought out? Is important. My students, again, I have been reminding you that World Development Report brought out by World Bank. According to World Development Report, the country is classified based on the average income of them. Only average income. Right now. But when it comes to human development, Human Development Report brought out by United Nations Development Program, means UNDP. According to Human Development Report, the country is classified based not only based on income, but also health status and education attainment. Isn't it? We have to expect a question from the Human Development Index side. Okay, now. So that is why the student has to focusing on them, and also this table it is. So there are few number of tables given in the textbook, my dear students. So each and every table is important. Sometimes the examiner is asking you that to analyzing the table and explaining the table. Sometimes he may ask you few questions to answering them. We have not ample of time. It is only 2.5 months there. So this is why the examiner may ask you to write questions which is under the table. It is okay, other than the asking to analyze the questions. But according to academic standards, AS3 asking to analyze the questions. Okay, or also sometimes he may giving the table to asking the questions are clear. So once again, I am reminding you that regarding this Human Development Index and the ranking of given countries are this. So my dear students, once again, I am telling you the highest rank is not much better than the lowest rank. Means lowest rank is higher than the highest rank it is. Clear? So when we have seen this table, which country's rank is the highest one? Sri Lanka it is. Sri Lanka Human Development is higher than the other countries which are given in the table. Isn't it? So this table was asked in 2013 public examinations, but not repeated again. But this year we are expecting this table to asking questions to answering them. Clear? And in the end of this lesson, there is another table given regarding education of girls and boys of Himachal Pradesh and India itself. So there are separate columns given about the girls, boys of Himachal Pradesh, and also girls and boys of India given. So when the student has been comparing the two columns, India and Himachal Pradesh, then he has to write about which is state, which is progressive in the education of girls and boys. Just have to compare that, okay, India with the Himachal Pradesh, which is progressive one, which is progressive education regarding girls and boys. But obviously, when you have to open the textbook and see, Himachal Pradesh is much better in education of girls and also the boys than India. Than India. Clear? So do you know the literacy rate of India is only 74.04%, but Himachal Pradesh achieved 84% in literacy rate. See, 74 of India, 84 of Himachal Pradesh. This is the point enough to explain about Himachal Pradesh and its progressive education. Clear? So, do not feel difficult to write analysis of given tables, but the student has to compare the given data it is. What data given there, have to compare and write. Highest, lowest, which is progressive, which is not progressive, okay, which state is higher, which state is lower. This way, have to write or to make the sentences and yes, developing the answers to get the marks. But don't you write about the name of the country or name of the state and regarding what was given the data it is. Okay, unlike math studies, isn't it? It's a social studies. The student has to explain the given. Explanation is important. That is called analysis. Explanation in the sense what? Comparison. When the student compare the given data of two selected states or three selected states or given the countries about given data, then he has to comparing them. When he start to compare the given data, definitely he has to develop the answer and achieve the maximum of the marks in the public examinations. Okay, my dear students. Okay, tomorrow in the classroom, we will discuss about the next important lesson. Okay, that is production and employment. Right? So thank you all. Have a nice day. If you have any doubts okay, regarding this lesson, we'll ask you now. I'll post you in the comment box. I'll clarify. Actually, answer.